Our next speaker, Jen Pahlka, has been in the tech and gaming industry for many years and has recently started an organization of her own called Code for America.
You're stealing my material. That's what I was telling people. Thank you, Sarah. You have my slides?
One moment.
Okay.
Have to switch over.
Okay, great. Can you go one back? Okay. So yeah, Sarah mentioned I used to be the co-chair for the Web2 Expo. I was working with Brady Forrest, and I used to talk a lot about participation. And now I'm thinking about participation in different contexts. I'm thinking about how we participate with our government and what it means to be a citizen. So I'm asking this question: what would a citizen do? And I want to start with this idea of the consumer experience, because the industry I came from is really obsessed with that, whether you're talking about the Apple retail experience or those great purple seats on the Virgin Airlines. This is, wait, that forwarding? This is really the holy grail of that industry, is this amazing consumer experience. But what happens if you work in that industry is you start to think of yourself first and foremost as a consumer. But what happened year before last was that we elected Barack Obama president. And I think when that happened, a little bit ahead of myself here, that my generation started to finally occur to us that perhaps our roles as citizens was just as important as our role as consumers. But if that's true, then we need to ask ourselves the question, well, what does the citizen experience look like? And when we think about citizenship, I think first thing we think of is voting. But not just if you live in Florida, anywhere you live. Voting itself is sort of a narrow experience and sort of unsatisfying definition of citizenship. And I'm talking about consumers and citizens as if they're two different things, because we think that consumers buy products, use products, interact with products, and citizens do things like vote or agitate or do jury duty. But if you've spent any time at all online these days, you know that this line is becoming very, very blurred, because we are voting more online than we are as citizens of our government. We vote every day. You vote for a Facebook comment that you like. You vote for in some cases, you get to vote for the rules of the community, online communities that you're part of, whether it's Facebook or Etsy. So there's these different models of hybrid, of consumer-citizen hybrid. And you know this one, right? I'm a good citizen because the bottle I drink from is made from 30% less plastic. There's another bottled water that sells itself as having 300% more oxygen. That means. So I live in Oakland. This is the idea that, you know, I get my vegetables from a CSA, so once a year I go and kiss the ground that my vegetables are grown in, or I eat meat, but I knew the cow that it came from, so it's okay. And this one we talked about, this is, again, the idea that you're a member of a community and you're really participating, whether you're voting for the rules of your online community or agitating, whatever, you're an active consumer. But beyond advocating and being connected, there are people now who are really building the products they want to buy. So whether that's a community garden, growing your own vegetables, or contributing to an open source project, these are the barn raisers, not just do it yourself, but do it ourselves. So there's a spectrum from essentially greenwash consumerism here to the DIOers over here. And if you're spending more time on this side of the spectrum, you might think from a business perspective about how to engage people really as citizens. But my point isn't for business. My point really is that we've come to understand ourselves as citizens really by being online. And it's only recently that at least my generation, I think, has thought about how to be citizens under a government. And the problem is that we've set an expectation for the citizen experience that our government can't meet. So, you know, Obama's come under criticism for being too in love with Google, but, you know, really, the federal government could stand to work a little bit more like a tech company, because you wouldn't start work at a tech company and find this on your desk. Which people we know who recruited to DC did recently. Or you wouldn't do, as we know people in City Hall in Oakland do, their city council meetings are made into PDFs by printing them and scanning them on a computer, on a scanner. So there's a lot of great people in government right now who are really working to make this experience of citizenship live up to our expectations. But it's really hard, and they need a lot of help. This is a quote from Katie Stanton, who went from Google to work in the Obama administration. So the reason they need a lot of help, and that's why I stopped working as the co-chair for the Web2 Expos, and I founded this nonprofit called Code for America. And we work at the city level first, because it's a lot easier to make change at that level. There's less bureaucracy, and you can see change a lot quicker. So we try to find smart people, not actually Michael J. Fox from Spin City, but people like that. We look for projects that drive transparency, efficiency, and participation, not actually recovery.gov, people, but projects like that. And we recruit using a sort of a model borrowed from Teach for America, if you're familiar with this organization, to get professionals from the web industry to build Web 2.0 projects for cities. And what we're trying to end up with here are open source Web 2.0 projects that any city can use. We want the culture virus effect of having 5 very smart people attached to the city for a year. And really critically, we're looking for collaboration amongst cities, because cities really are doing things on their own. If we can get them to solve their problems together, we're going to have a much bigger impact. So that's my new nonprofit, Code for America. If you're at all interested in being involved, please reach me in one of these ways and go out there and be a citizen. Thank you.